It's official now. The Giants have their worst losing streak since 2006 as the losing streak swells to 9 games. This is Giants Roundup on a Monday night, September 10th, game 1 of a 3-game series. You can follow on Twitter, join the Group Kai page on Facebook. Most importantly, please be kind and hit that subscribe button. This loss hurt. Giants lose 4-1. Now they're 68-77 on the season. And what do you do? This is frustrating. And the Giants got another lead in the first inning. Austin Slater singles to left and scores Gorgas 1-0 Giants. Then Atlanta comes back with Kurt Suzuki single. It scores Freddie Freeman 1-1. Then the 7th inning comes. Dansby Swanson sacrifices and scores Ozzie Albies 2-1 Braves. Then I'm going to get to Hunter here in a minute. He comes in. Albies triples. It scores Matt Adams 3-1. Swanson sacrifices, scores Albies. That's your final score. 4-1 Braves. Where do we go from here? Rodriguez, stellar tonight. 2 runs, 1 earned, 5 hits. 6 1/3 innings pitch, walks 2, strikes out 3. Sean Newcomb, 6 innings pitch, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 8 strikeouts. But man, there just needs to be something here that I don't know what to do. Maybe you bring Miguel Gomez tomorrow, have him play center. There's not a. This is just frustrating. Play more Aramis Garcia. Problem is Chris Shaw's not ready for the show. Hunter Pence 0 for 3. I mean, this is just frustrating. Freddie Freeman goes 2 for 4 for Atlanta. Kurt Suzuki 3 for 3. This is really starting to look like a team that's mailed it in. They're 12 back of the division. And I wonder what the tragic number is. Now I'm going to take a look at that. But what do you do if you're Bruce Bochy? I really think it's time for a players-only meeting to vent your frustrations. I think the best course of action is a players-only meeting at this point for the Giants. Their tragic number is down to 8, so they're going to get at this rate. They're going to get themselves eliminated. They'll be mathematically eliminated by the end of the week. But what's 7 in tragic number 7 for the wild card? But yeah, it's getting ridiculous. They're pretty much out of it, and it's frustrating. What do you do? And it was very empty tonight at AT&T Park. Tonight's attendance was Giants attendance was 35,996. It's probably the lowest I've seen the attendance in a while. It's probably going to continue to get worse at this rate. And who wants to see this shit show right now for the Giants win a game? That said, I think it's time to hold a players-only meeting, vent frustrations. But you're not going to win. Belt goes 1 for 4, strikes out twice. But all the young kids get hurt. I think play more Avellino at this point. Maybe call it Miguel Gomez. Get Miguel Gomez some reps at second. But as in terms of Hunter Strickland, shut him down for the season. He walked 1 more batter, 2 more earned runs. His velocity has not been the same since returning from the disabled list. He's just become very hittable. I question Bochy even putting I said the last time he came in, he should be relegated to garbage innings. But I think it's time to shut down Strickland for the year. And guess what? He's arbitration eligible this offseason. So I think it's time to shut him down. Don't bring him back next year. And let that be the end there. I've had it. Strickland's a hothead. He fought Hunter Strickland last year, punched the door this year. I've had enough of Hunter Strickland. I think it's time for his ass to be shown the door. I think he definitely can go with Mad Bum this offseason. Trade Mad Bum. Do not re-sign Hunter Strickland. And this is just who wants to be a Giant next year. This is a realistic who wants to be here next year at this rate. And I don't think Strickland needs to be here. He's definitely earned the right to not. He'll likely get non-tendered this offseason. And it's time for Bochy to get mad, start chewing out players. But I think it's time for a players-only meeting. Vent from some frustrations. And to be honest, this is the worst losing streak since 2006. And guess what happened that year? That was the year Felipe Alou was manager, and that was the year he was fired. Or not, yeah, he was fired, essentially fired that year. I'm wondering, is it time to get rid of Bochy? I'm starting to think if he wants to come back, okay. But I think that the front office I think it's better maybe to part ways with him in this offseason. I'm really thinking there needs to be a mutual parting of ways between the Giants and Bochy this offseason. Whether he moves to the front office or a forced retirement, but I don't think Bochy should be back next season. I'm really starting to think that they need to start a managerial search here. And they're going to have to maybe tear this team down to the bolts before this team gets any better. Bryce Harper's not coming here. You're not going to get a top free agent. It's time to get younger, restock the farm, rebuild. Rebuild. That's what's going to have to happen. They're 68 and 77. They're 13 losses away from back-to-back 90-loss seasons. And this team's just, I don't think they've quit on Bochy, but something's just, there's a disconnect. There's certainly a disconnect somewhere. I think the veterans have gotten too comfortable. But what's worse is, unfortunately, a lot of players have gotten hurt, too. So it's kind of a double-edged sword in that sense. But you know what? I think Crawford and Belt should be earning their starts at this point. Darno played a little bit. Maybe give Darno more reps. But I'm kind of ready to see what Miguel Gomez is going to play. More Avellino, play more Gomez next couple weeks. Who wants to be on this roster next year? And they did a poll on Twitter for the Giants Outsiders tonight on should the Giants embrace a full rebuild. And last time I checked, I'm going to check the polls right now, but this was a fair or foul question. You'll see this on the Giants Outsiders tonight. And I think the majority right now is saying yes, time to tear it down and rebuild. And 52-48. It's 59-41. So so 59% say fair. It is time to rebuild, and there's that tells you something right there that fans are willing to see a rebuild. They're willing to tank a couple, go with a long-term plan. I think it's going to have to happen next year anyways. And be honest, once they do strike out in free agency, they're going to have no choice but to tank next season. They're going to have to maybe trade Bumgarner to a team like Houston. Do not bring back Joe Panic. Trade Brandon Belt to New York. But I think the only two holdovers left could be Posey and Crawford. Those are the only two that are, and then you're essentially stuck with Evan Longoria's contract, and he's on the wrong side of his career. It's not going to be fun next year. I think even if they were to try to make one more run, this is still a 90-loss team. I think this is next year. This is easily going to be a 90-loss team. I think it's time to tank next season. There's going to be no shame in tanking, and I think fans are ready for a rebuild. It may not be fun, but it's the right thing to do. I think also it's time to move Bochy out of the manager spot. I think it's time to hire a manager next season. This is what needs to happen. And the next couple years are going to be painful, but we're ready for it. I think we're ready for the unknown at this point. And it could be like it was. I've seen this story in the mid-90s. Then they finally trade Matt Williams, and the team got better. So trading core players, maybe it'll spark another run in the 2020s. You never know. But I'm thankful for what Bochy's done the 3 championships in 5 years. It rarely ever happens, I think, Bochy, but I think it's time for him to ride off into the sunset. He has nothing left to prove. I think he should not be overseeing a rebuild. He should just enjoy retirement. He just seems like a manager who's just wanting a paycheck at this point. I don't see a lot of fire in him anymore, and I just think there's going to need to be major changes this offseason. Fire Bobby Evans, move him out of the. It needs to be a clean slate next year, and I think if you want to get, I think it needs to be time for a clean break this offseason. It's going to be painful, but it's going to be the right thing to do. Look at Atlanta; they took their lumps tanking. Houston had their years of tanking. Chicago. So it's take your lumps for a few years and then come back and be great again at some point. But in the race for the NL West, Colorado pads their lead to 1.5 games. Arizona falls back to 3.5. All right, let's do the MLB Roundup for your Monday night. The Rangers beat the Angels 5-2, taking the win. Mike Minor taking the loss. Jaime Barria, 3 innings pitched, 4 earned, 4 walks. Joey Gallo goes 2 for 3 for the Rangers. In Detroit, the Astros beat the Tigers 3-2, taking the win. Justin Verlander, who strikes out 10 in 7 innings pitched. Francisco Liriano takes the loss, tough loss tonight. 6 innings pitched, strikes out 7, 3 unearned runs tonight. And now Houston is 3 games up on Oakland in the AL West race. In Cincinnati, the Reds beat the LA Dodgers 10-6. Alex Wood surrendered 6 earned runs in 3 2/3 innings pitched. Scooter Gennett goes 4 for 5 for the Reds. Ryan Madsen, 3 earned runs in 1 inning pitched. Cody Reed, 3 earned and 4 innings pitched. Michael Lorenzen, 3 earned runs in 2 1/3 innings pitched. And in Philadelphia, another game rained out for the Nationals. 3rd game in 5 days rained out for the Nationals. And I don't know if this game's going to get made up or not. They're going to have to try to make it up with the Phillies still in the playoff hunt. In Tampa Bay, the Rays beat the Indians 6-5, taking the win. Jaime Schultz, Brad Ham taking the loss, 2 earned and 2/3 of an inning pitched. And certainly the Rays continuing to play spoilers here in the month of September. Corey Kluber only goes 1 2/3 innings tonight, 4 earned runs. Not a good night. Adam Kolarek, 2 earned and 1 1/3 innings pitched. And Cleveland near the point of clinching at this point. In New York, in Queens, another rain out tonight between the Marlins and the Mets. Marlins rained out in back-to-back nights. And in a big playoff race game today, the Brewers beat the Cubs 3-2, taking the win. Wade Miley, who was ejected yesterday in yesterday's Giants game, taking the loss. John Lester, 7 strikeouts in 5 2/3 innings pitched. Lorenzo Cain goes 4 for 5 for the Brewers. And then Lester left the game with back tightness. Tough luck for him. Milwaukee now just 1 game back of Chicago as we are getting into the final 3 weeks of the season. In Minnesota, the Twins lose to the Yankees tonight 7-2. Taking the win, J.A. Happ taking the loss. Kyle Gibson, 1 earned and 5 2/3 innings pitched, 4 walks. Harry Sanchez, welcome back, goes 3 for 5 with his 16th home run on the year for the Yankees. And just tough luck by Gibson tonight. Alan Bucinitz, 4 earned without recording an out. Andrew Vasquez, an earned a run without recording an out. In St. Louis, the Cardinals beat the Pirates 8-7, taking the win. John Brevia taking the loss. Edgar Santana, 3 earned without recording an out. Carlos Martinez gets the save. Josh Bell, 3 for 5 for the Pirates. Trevor Williams strikes out 6 in 5 innings pitched. Adam Wainwright, welcome back. He was okay, returning from injury tonight. 5 innings pitched, 4 earned, 3 strikeouts. As Wainwright played for his last hurrah with the St. Louis Cardinals, I wish him a lot of luck. Great person, great guy. Jose Abreu goes 3 for 4 as the White Sox lose to the Royals 4-3. And in Colorado, the Rockies clobber the D-backs 13-2, taking the win. German Marquez taking the loss. Zach Godley, 5 earned and 4 innings pitched. Colorado now a 1.5 lead over L.A. Charlie Blackmon goes 3 for 3 for Colorado. DJ LeMahieu 3 for 4. Eduardo Escobar 3 for 3 for Arizona. Ian Desmond 2 for 3 for Colorado. Tony Walters 3 for 4. Trevor Story hits his 32nd home run on the year. And then Matt Andriese, not a good night. 7 earned in 1 1/3 innings pitched for Arizona. And Arizona's starting to fall out of it here. And if the season were to end today, Boston would win the East, would host the winner of Oakland and New York. And then Houston would go to Cleveland. So Cleveland would go to Houston in round 1 in the National. Seattle 7.5 back of the wild card. Tampa Bay 7.5. So they're not. As I say, they continue to play spoiler here down the stretch. Philly now 5 back of Atlanta, 5 back of the wild card. Chicago only has a 1-game lead on Milwaukee. They would host the winner of Milwaukee and St. Louis. Milwaukee currently would host it. Colorado would go to Atlanta, and LA game and a half back, 2 back of the wild card. Arizona 4 back, 3.5 back. And yeah, it's tightening up. It's winding down here as we are into the month of, as we are continuing into the month of September. I'll be back in a moment. And tonight in minor league, and tonight in the NFL, the Raiders lose to the Rams 33-13. Derek Carr, 28 for 39, 295 yards, 3 interceptions. Throws for 303 yards, but a 62.8 passer ratings. The 3 interceptions, not good. Marshawn Lynch rushes for 41 yards, 3.7 yards per carry. Jalen Richard, 4.8 yards per carry. Doug Martin, 5 yards per carry, 20 yards. And then Jared Cook, the main target tonight, 9 receptions, 180 yards. But this could be a repeat of last year if Oakland isn't careful. And Oakland falls to 4. And the Oakland Raiders fall to 0-1 on the season. And tonight in minor league playoffs, oops. No games scheduled. Let's see, Class A. And tonight in California League postseason, no games. And it looks like it'll be the Visalia Rawhide playing the Rancho Cucamonga Quakes in the next round. And in the PCL, the Fresno Grizzlies advance to the next round. They will play the Memphis Redbirds in a best-of-5 for the Pacific Coast League Championship. And games 1 and 2 will be at Chachansey Park tomorrow and Wednesday night. Let's get the Go Grizzlies. All right, thanks for tuning in tonight. Everybody have a great Monday night. Let's get a win tomorrow. Let's not match that dubious 10-game losing streak. Let's get a win in the month of September. Come on. Yeah, well, last time the Giants have lost 10 in a row is 1996. Oh, those were some interesting times. Osvaldo Fernandez, Alan Watson, William Van Landingham, Mark Leiter. Of course, that was the first year the Giants traded for Kirk Reeder and Mark Gardner, Bill Mueller. So those some interesting times, but I just don't want to match that dubious losing streak. Everybody have a great night.